Well, hello and welcome to Mills and Reeves exhibition stand. In this short video, Nicola, Alex and I are going to provide some of our reflections on our work with universities, and importantly, we'll be answering the question for the exhibition stand. We're certainly delighted to continue with our support for the UHR annual conference this year, Refreshing HR. We're very sad that we're not going to see you there in person, but we're hoping that by this time next year that will have changed, if not before. Mills and Reeves' work with universities is a vital element of what we do. And we have over 20 employment, pensions and immigration lawyers who specialise working with universities. It's a sector we all enjoy supporting. We're very conscious, pandemic or not, of the huge challenges that you all face locally, nationally and internationally. But we think that the size of these challenges very much are equalled by your experience and your commitment as HR professionals. Indeed, our work with many of you over the last year has demonstrated just what a resourceful, resilient and good-humoured group you are.
I'm just going to spend a bit of time looking back over last year and then looking forward to the future. So last year, everybody faced significant change. Thinking back, we think back to furlough, remote working, then the return to campus. Looking at the location of your staff, you might have discovered that you had some staff who were based overseas who you didn't know were overseas, and an increasing number of employment tribunal claims have been coming through to us. Looking to the future, what do we know about the future? One thing is certain, and that's that we're going to have more change. So when you're looking to develop a policy for the future, what you need to do is, I think, come up with an overall strategy that ties in with your overall plan, but also builds in some elements of flexibility. So flexibility to enable you to change if the circumstances change nationally or globally, but also we don't actually know what will work going forward. So you want to try and build in some flex for what works and what doesn't work. We're going to run a session on Wednesday where we're going to look at an agile workforce. First of all, we'll look at what do we mean by an agile workforce, but then go on to consider things like what policies you should have, what about restructuring, what about performance management and industrial relations, and how you're going to deal with all of that.
Certainly one of the challenges you will have been facing is managing remote working. That's come to the surface, I think, hasn't it, with COVID, but also in terms of the general trends. In terms of what staff expect, want to do, and the expectations of the next generation coming through. I'm sure many of us have been grappling with issues of staff based abroad and the tax issues, the social security, the permanent entity issues, the corporate tax risk, the pension issues. They can be nasty. A real difficult can of worms can be opened up when staff turn up abroad. There's also, of course, been the new immigration system that's come into force in the beginning of this year, marking a really significant change, the biggest change for decades, really, in terms of our global mobility rules. We've now got a flat system, of course, across the board for EU and non-EU nationals alike, with quite big changes on the compliance front, but also I think a real broadening out and a trend in that direction to a wider number of routes, particularly for academic and research staff. So thinking about things like the global talent visa that's been broadened out, the temporary worker routes, the frontier worker permits. So certainly challenges there, but also opportunities. And it's fair to say, I think these are going to stay at the top of the list over the months and years ahead. And in one of the sessions that we're going to be running, we're going to be looking at some of those issues, the risks, the challenges, but also the opportunities that are out there and how to make best use of those looking forward.
Very much look forward to seeing you at one, if not both, of the sessions that we've just mentioned, at which we'll share new ideas and approaches to these complex problems, whether that's the session with Nicola, John Jackson and I on agile workforce, or the one that Alex has just mentioned in relation to immigration and global mobility. If during the conference you'd like to ask us any questions or get in touch with us, then please do just give us a call or drop us an email. The contact details are on the exhibition stand page. Speaking of questions, it's time to reveal the answer to the all-important quiz question. which is which of the three of us is the proud owner of 6 chickens and 2 rabbits. So will that person make themselves known now, please?
That would be me, Nick.
That would be you, Alex. The answer to so many quiz questions. So Alex is the answer that you need to put there. But we really hope that you enjoy the conference and we look forward to seeing you soon.